Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Obviously, my goodness, are we not in a good spot? 2-8-1 on the year. But I don't want to go too doom and gloom with this episode today, right? Obviously, we've had a tough start to the week. We've had a tough past week. Oh no, it's not been good as an Oilers fan. But there is hope on the horizon. And somebody put it best in the comments section there that title that I put on one of the thumbnails earlier last week saying hope or chaos in November and saying instead hope and chaos. Well, we got our chaos today. Jack Campbell being put on waivers. As many people have said, put Campbell on waivers. The likelihood and the believability of it just was not ever at any point there. And the Oilers elected to do said move today. Obviously, there's a lot more ramifications to come, but at current for the Oilers, you just got to look ahead to Thursday against the San Jose Sharks as they are currently up at time of recording 1-0 against the Philadelphia Flyers. So again, things could get really interesting on Thursday if the Sharks suddenly win their first game of the season tomorrow and then can win their second game of the season on Thursday against us. However, the understanding we must go into things with tonight, just based on the evidence I have presented, is that the Sharks will likely still be looking for their first win against the Oilers on Thursday. The Oilers will be looking to win their first game since the Heritage Classic and only their third overall. And while now we're down our quote-unquote starting goaltender, and Stuart Skinner is having a struggle to start the season, to say the least. And at the end of the day, too, you've got Calvin Pickard likely to come up to fill the hole for the time being and save a little bit of cap so as you accrue cap space for the trade deadline in case, for some reason, you turn this right around and you're in a really good position to add at the trade deadline. So what we know today is there's been talk about the Oilers potentially packaging Jack Campbell for Carter Hart, right? Throwing some kind of bigger package together. I've discussed that with a few people and I've seen it mentioned across social media quite a bit today. As well, UC Saros has gotten a lot of mentions this week about being a big-time solution for the Oilers. Nashville, though, has started the season okay, and I would expect as long as they're within the conversation of a playoff spot, they're going to keep the goalie that makes it happen for them there. As Patrick did mention, though, they've got Askarov there in net coming up, so maybe willing to move on if things kind of look 50-50 at some point here in the next little bit. To that effect, though, you've also got Mackenzie Blackwood, who's in San Jose, and the Oilers potentially could find a way after Jack Campbell clears waivers and you get Calvin Pickard on the roster for tomorrow. You could look at it to a swap for Mackenzie Blackwood and Jack Campbell, simply just going out there and doing that. That's another possibility I've seen mentioned as well. So the goaltending thing, very up in the air right now. Yes, right now it's very simple. Jack Campbell down. He'll likely clear waivers unless, I saw somebody joke about this today, unless he gets claimed by San Jose tomorrow and then he starts tomorrow night because he's already going to be there anyway and shuts us out some 4-0 or something. Right? That's something that can only happen to the Oilers, let me promise you that. And as good people in my life would say, stop manifesting the bad things, Tice. But hey, end of the day, you got to be aware of the bad things, and that's one of those bad things we got to be aware of. So when you look at it here is, right, you've got three potential names that all could, in some sense, if you sat down and had a 30-minute conversation at the bar over a plate of wings and a beverage of choice, for me a Pepsi, well, guess what? You're going to find out that these are the three names you're likely to talk about when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers and trading out a goalie, trading in a goalie. Yes, there's still John Gibson in LA, but, not LA, sorry, Anaheim. But anyone check on those Ducks lately? They are flying. No pun intended, but definitely intended, actually. My apologies. So what are you going to do there? What are you going to do there, right? That's kind of the question. Is the usual suspects in terms of Saros and Gibson, who we've long talked about being Edmonton Oilers over the past 5 years. One of them's more or less available, I think, in Saros, and then you've got the other one in Gibson kind of tied up for the time being because those Ducks are doing their thing and trying their best to maybe work their way out of the basement for the time being, at least. and maybe we'll see what the kind of noise they can make the rest of the year if the Oilers continue to be bottom feeders the whole way through. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. Obviously now, like I said, really all we have to look forward to at this point is a win on Thursday against the San Jose Sharks. That's the biggest thing that we can possibly get out of this week at this point. And if you look at it, a win against the Sharks on Thursday kind of quiets the noise down. Hey, at least we didn't lose to the Sharks, right? That's kind of the headline you would have to run with is, hey, it's not the worst case scenario yet. But right now as well, you're keeping tabs on Jay Woodcroft potentially not having a job by the end of the week. You're keeping tabs on, I mean, how much longer are the Oilers realistically going to allow Ken Holland to make the decisions? I think seeing him fired really doesn't do much. But again, there is validity in talking about it, because whether I want to talk about it or not, you're probably talking about it. So it doesn't change nothing if I just keep my lips shut anyway. Secondary to that, the assistants and the goalie coach and the strength and conditioning coach, everybody on the bench for the Edmonton Oilers here, they got to be in play other than just Jay Woodcroft, right? I think Ken and all the assistants, and I really feel bad for, I believe it is Brad Stewart on the bench here for us, right, is a guy that is getting no mention in any of this. I don't even think Oilers fans know he exists, to be honest with you. It's kind of comical as we're all blaming Dave Manson, Dustin Schwartz, Jay Woodcroft, and we got this other guy standing on our bench. Same with Glenn Gulletson. Nobody's sitting there telling them to fire those two guys, because I simply don't think anyone knows what those two guys do for this Edmonton Oilers team in depth enough to be able to blame them for what's going on right now with the Oilers. Not saying they deserve blame, but you get where I'm going. Now also, you've got to follow up on my video last night talking about Connor McDavid having enough of this Edmonton Oilers situation. By no means was I condoning what he was doing out there on the ice, being an absolute, I guess for a lack of a better word, lunatic, right? He snapped and he was just not having a good time on the ice. But at the same rate, it's nice to see that flair. It's nice to see that temper out of Connor, who's usually nice and even keel, right? He might get up for big moments, but you don't usually see the anger and frustration to that level out of Connor. So that's what I was praising last night, is just, you know what, dude, it ain't going your way. Show it. Show a little emotion. Go out there and maybe you're going to spark a fire under one of your teammates. Didn't happen, but end of the day, Leon Draisaitl gets lippy and gets thrown in the box for 10. But tough go, right? Is nothing goes your way. Maybe a little spark there from the captain might do something next game against San Jose. But then immediately you have this firestorm that creates the next day with Jack Campbell on waivers. And honestly, I don't know where this team's going next. And I don't think any of us have an idea what can possibly fix this at this point, because there is not one unanimous answer out of Oilers fans in my comment section on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere on social media, nor when I talk to Oilers fans person to person, in person every day. So your guess is as good as mine at this point. We're going to find out. But I'm telling you, if you guys are sitting here, why are you always so angry? Why are you always so positive? You see this here? I don't have a tattoo because I likely could never withstand the pain of getting a tattoo. But my heart, I wear it right there, right on my sleeve. And let me tell you, when it comes to the Oilers, I do that none too small of an effort. That's usually the biggest thing you see on my sleeve, is how much of an Oilers fan I am. So don't ever doubt where I'm going with all this, but at the end of the day, we need to get going somewhere that ain't here, and this place really sucks. So we look forward to the game on Thursday against San Jose, and hopefully a winning result, and then we can kind of put this past us for a day at least and talk about going forward. Friends, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.